Morning. Let's see who's on first. Let's check. I think we're all running. Hi Caroline, you're the first to comment. Congratulations. See, I'm live on my page. Let me just check that we're live on Sentimentally Yours as well. Yeah, we are. That's good. We're live everywhere. And live on YouTube, I believe. YouTube's catching up. Hi Anya. YouTube. There it is. Hi Edith. Edith's on YouTube. Morning Chrissy. Right, so admin's over. I can put that aside so I can see all your comments on my iPad. Hi Jan. Launch day is always exciting. While we're waiting, I'll sort some pens out. Hi Debbie. Where's that come from? Oh, that's the one I want to use. That's right. That's that I don't think I do. Oh, Jean's here. Hi Wilbur. It's good so many of you jumping on so quickly actually. Let's have that one and that one. Maybe. Hi Di. So this one is on set. I'll let you know what I'm doing in a minute. Just hi Susan. That's one. Where are they from? They are from. Oh no, that's from two. I've already made a mistake. Hi Angie. Yeah, I'm good. Just about recovered from the weekend. I was very, very tired. For those of you who don't know, I did a workshop on Sunday locally, and it's my first workshop that I've done for 5 years. And it was a long old day. We went out at 9 o'clock and got back about 6. But it was very good, very enjoyable. Hi Di. Right, so that's I'll be with you in a moment when I can see that we've got a good amount of people on. Yeah, let's perhaps have that one actually. Yes, okay. That's one set. Trying to be organised. Okay, let's get rid of that. No, not that. That. So you can see what I've got in front of me. So I'm always very lucky because I get to have all the stamps to play with, which is rather fabulous. And I'm just at the side doing some swatches. Anyway, long day but worth it. It was worth it. Yeah, it really was. you know, Jean, it's all very well saying that we should live near it, but it's always the way, isn't it? Like those people that live near Sheffield are lucky because they can go into Phil's store and do workshops, but then people down south wish they lived north so that they could go there. So it's never going to be local, is it? I mean, the thing is that we're on the south coast, so it makes this a great holiday destination. So you could turn it into a holiday down here, and you know, the dates are published quite far in advance, so yeah, you can make a nice either a week away or a long weekend away or just a normal weekend away. So have a think about that, because you know, or get a minibus together and rent an Airbnb or a cottage or something. Have a crafty break. That would be good, wouldn't it? Anywho, let's press on. Right, so Phil showed you on Monday night in his live the new stamps. So just in case you missed it, I'll very quickly go through them. So the concept of this release is really all to do with frames. And if you think back to the original Floral Curios, which were released in June last year, we had circles and we had corners, and we had a beautiful big bouquet as a corsage in the middle, and there was the corsage set and there was also a posy set. And the difference being is that the corsage set has daisies in them, and the posy set, which has got this one, has got pansies in them. So that's a point of difference. But you can obviously mix and match, and you can do your backgrounds, and hi Jane, and you know, you don't have to just stick to one or the other when you're looking at borders and the other embellishments and things. So so we've got, they're all A6, the frames. So we've got a rectangle, which is a corsage. We've got this is a new die shape that's coming out very soon. This is your Posy Chic label, so this has got the pansy in it. This is your Posy Circle, so again this has got the pansy in it, and there's a good open space there for you to put a sentiment in. Then we've got the Corsage Oval, so we're back to daisies on this one, and again you've got a really good open space there for you to put your sentiments in. Then we've got the octagon, and the octagon's lovely. I mean, remember, you can use them this way or that way, or with the octagon you can use it on the wonk if you want to. And then we're going to use the squares today. We're going to use it as a diamond today, so you remember you can do that. You can mess around with your squares. So those are your 6 frames. They're all A6. Then you've got 3 A5 stamp sets. You've got the beautiful blooms. We're going to use that today. And there's 33 stamps in here. And this is an A5 set, as I said. And you've got different sizes. Some blooms have got 3 sizes and some blooms have got 4 sizes. Like with the daisy, there's 4. You can see. Okay, that's that. Then you've got this one, and this one is exclusive to select retailers. So I have it. I think I've only got one left though of my restock stock. Excuse me. And then you can get them obviously from Phil. I don't know where else you can get them, but you've got 6 beautiful borders on this. They're almost A5 width, and you've got 3 borders with the posy and 3 borders with the corsage, and you've got single flower borders within this as well, and we're going to use this one. I was going to use the daisy, but we're going to use this one. And then you've got an A5 sentiment set, which is just crammed packed with lots and lots of different sentiments. You've got them you know, sort of that way horizontally, so you can use them in your flags and banners set, or in your smaller DLs or rectangles. Obviously you can use your circles, your ovals. All these are going to fit. I mean, sometimes the bigger ones won't fit in, say, the circle, that might not fit, but you can see because you've got your clear photopolymer stamps, so you can see exactly where they're going to fit. Jam-packed, and you've got additional hearts. Phil's used so much space up on this die set. There's no space wasted at all. So we're going to use, these are what we're going to use today. We're going to use the 3 A5s, and we're going to use the square. Hi Lorraine. Hi to everybody that I've missed. Right, so I've got to think about what order I need to do these in. Let's start with doing some random stamping of some of the balloons. I have got some fussy cut out, but I'll just show you how they stamp. I'm using an acrylic circle, and we're going for a rose. And the plan is to stamp this, to put these into 4 corners of a frame. So because we're using 4 corners, then you need to stamp them each 4 times. I'm only going to stamp them once, just so you can see how they stamp. This is Nocturne Versifying Clear. And you'll find it on both our websites. So I should mention, actually, my website is this, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. And at the moment, running until midnight on next Friday the 14th, there will be 10% discount. If you pop yours 10 in the discount code box at checkout, you get 10% discount on the products that are on Phil's shows today and tomorrow that I've got in stock on my website, not on Create and Craft website, on my website. I think somebody got a bit mixed up last week. They were trying to use my code on the Create and Craft website, which is a bit weird. Yeah, and then that includes the new stuff that comes out on Sunday night. Obviously you can't see it yet because we're not allowed to put it on there, but as soon as they go live on Sunday night, then you can use that code in there. So if you want to order today so you don't miss some of that stuff, you can just put a note on your order saying, I'm planning on ordering again on Sunday, can you hang on to my order, and then I'll combine the refund any extra postage and that sort of stuff. Okay, so that's mine. And then you'll also find them on honeypotcrafts.co.uk. Again, the new stuff will be on there from midnight. The borders are on there now. I think Phil will have already adjusted everything by 10% when his stuff goes live on Sunday night. I think that's all the admin. Oh, I've answered your question, Chrissy. Okay, so then we're using a pansy. This should tell you that the squares is actually a posy set. So then we're going to do a pansy. Pansy's lovely. Look at the pansy. Isn't it pretty? Yes, you can stack the flowers. Absolutely, of course you can. Yeah. You can snip into them as well, so that then you can raise bits. So like with the rose, when you cut it out, you could snip down into there, and down into there, and down into there, and then kind of manipulate them and play with them. This is the Super Smooth watercolour card, which you will obviously find on both of our websites. There is also a black watercolour card, which is available. And that's great if you want to colour in with any of your metallic paints or your lustre powders, because they have some of them play differently on black card to how they do on white. You can't pre-order anything, Jean. We're not allowed to put anything on our websites until Sunday night at midnight. So you can't pre-order anything that's new. You have to wait until it goes live. I hope that makes sense. That's all right, Julie. You can't pre-order. Sorry. That's Create and Craft rules, unfortunately. Obviously, I'm going to, if you can buy off Create and Craft, they've probably got it live now because they do that. Be careful and make sure that if you're buying from Create and Craft, which I encourage you not to do, then you check that you've got your discount on there, because obviously it's a one-day special and it's going to have a discount on there. Okay, so those are the 3 flowers that we're going to fussy cut out, and I've got them all in a little bag here. I sat and cut them out yesterday, so we're going to colour them in a little while. We're going to do all of our colouring. I do apologise because the colouring is going to take a little while. Then we're going to go for I've gone for Poppy Red as a a contrast colour. So we're going to colour in reds. And Phil put a video live last night on his YouTube channel. He's used reds as well, and I told him I was using reds, and I said, oh, I'll change it, and he said, no, it's fine, you just do it as you want to. I was trying to think of a colour he hadn't done already, but then he hadn't done it already until I realised he was going to put a video up. Anyway, so we're going to do reds as well. So this will be a different layout to Phil. I might colour in differently to Phil because I haven't watched it yet, but anywho. So in the background we've got this is your Heart Lattice embossing folder. So just to break some of the colouring up, we've gone for an embossed background. Okay. Then let's put that to one side a second. I won't get in a mess. Then I've gutted this. Now, had I have thought about it, it might have been quite nice to do this. And this is actually an option that you could have done. So if you'd have got your border, I didn't measure my borders. They're nearly there, but they're not 100%. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? So you've actually got an inner frame. But I didn't mean to do that. Did I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Did I? What am I doing? Oh no, yes, because I'm going to do this. I can't remember what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. Like that. But it does look quite nice like that as well. So you could have that like that. So think about it. Think about how you're cutting out and how you want to do things. This is the trouble. If I do things 2 days previously, I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Right, where's my stamping pad? Yes, they are. Yes, Caroline's saying these flowers will be fab when you want flowers without dimension for posting. Yeah, you don't have. And if you see Phil's samples that he's posted so far, he hasn't put extra flowers on them. I mean, he can't resist putting something on there, obviously, because it's Phil. So he's had butterflies on there and flourishes on there. But yes, you can absolutely do it flat. Hi, Sandy. Right, so let's do our border. So our border is going to go in the middle of the frame. And the idea is that in the corners, we're going to have our fussy cut flowers. That's the plan, anyway. So with this border, what I've done is I've cut, where's my squares? These are the here we go, debossed double stitch squares. This isn't actually red and white, Chrissy. This is the super smooth, so it's like a pale cream. I know there's an NHS thing, isn't there? You know, people that used to be nurses and don't actually like to use red and white together. So you see my magnets have been attracted to that already. So I've used this one, which is the largest but 2. And then I've skipped 2. So when I cut, I put, here we go again. So this one will be this other way up. Let's get rid of these magnets. This seems to be interfering with me. Oh, we'll be here forever. I hope we got a cup of tea. When I cut, there we go. Turn that over. When I cut, I pop this on the card. Then I pop this one in. And because we're missing 2, then I pop this one in. Make sure all these are level. Okay. And then I pop this one in. So I've missed 2. Make sure everything's lined up nicely. Then you secure that one, and lift the 2 that are facing the wrong way away. Okay, does that make sense? So that's how you get your spacing with your dies. Sometimes we just cut lines and we don't tell you what we've done, do we? Okay, that's your squares. So obviously, I mean, you could have used any squares. We could use the eyelet squares. We can use the stitch torn squares. You will get a frame out of it, but it's harder to work with because you'll have a torn on the inside. But there's nothing stopping you having a stitch torn on the outside and a debossed double stitched on the inside. So mix and match your squares. Square's a square, okay? Just reading your comments. Where's the other magnet? There it is. This one. Right, so I did intend to use this, but because we're using a posy, I'm going to use this one instead. And I think this one will be quicker to colour in anyway. So this is one of the flowers that's in the square. Where's our square? There's our square. And it is here. So this is that one. So I'm not worried if it doesn't all fit, because otherwise I'd have to go 3. I'd have to miss 3. But I do want it to be evenish. Benefit of the stamping platform is that all we have to do is move our frame around. Okay, pick that up. I've not used this one before. Make sure we're all nicely into the edge. We go with our VersaFine Clair. Tap, 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 tap. We are going to add, Jane's saying she never uses red and white together over superstitions. Yes, I totally understand that. We are going to get, some of the flowers are going to be a little bit interfered with because of the stitch detail. If you don't want that to happen, you can actually mask it off a little bit, and then you'll just lose the flower and you won't see it going over the stitch detail, but we're just going to do it like this. Yeah, but we are going to add a little bit of green for the foliage, and we're going to, I need a yellow as well. We need a bit of a yellow for the centres as well. So it's not going to be all just red and white, or red and cream. There's our one. So this is what I was saying. You can see that it's just fallen up in between the stitch. I don't know if you can see that. But it's still really lovely, so I'm not going to stress about that. I'm not worried about that. So again, you push that border up into the corner. Take your time. It should be pleasurable. You should be enjoying it, not rushing. Tap, 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 tap. And this finished card will go on an 8x8 card, just so you know. It'll be, I think my biggest layer is 7 3/4 inches square, so it will fit nicely. If you want it smaller, then just work smaller. But obviously we're going to use the square frame, so you want to work around that. There's number 2. In fact, you don't, I am going to add these extra flowers, but you could get away with just putting a pearl in the corner, which would be quite nice. I did consider actually doing this and colouring it all in ahead of time, but then I saw Phil do it and I thought, well, I'll just colour it in with you. See how quick we can do it when we come to do it. The separate flowers should be quite quick because we can just watercolour those. At least I've done all the fussy cutting. That took me nearly an hour. I was chatting to my friends at the maker's house at the time. There's number 3. And just do the last one. Now you can get away with not colouring in at all if you want to, and I'll show you how it will all look monochrome. Colouring in is kind of quite therapeutic, and depending on how much time you've got, of course, it can be so relaxing because you're just focusing on your colours that you're choosing, staying in the lines if you need to. And just enjoying the process. So it is, and it is very, very mindful. Okay, so there's our 4 borders. Looks fab, doesn't it? Okay, so let's just give that a wipe and a dab. I've got proper kitchen roll now. I was moaning at the weekend how much the Plenty kitchen roll had gone up in price. So we were using this very cheap supermarket kitchen roll, and it was absolutely rubbish. In fact, I just left it at the maker's house. I didn't bother even bringing it home with me because it was so bad. So, you know, you get what you pay for, don't you? Even with kitchen roll. Okay, so that's that. Let's do our square now. So where we're at so far is we've got this, and then this will come in on there like so. Obviously we've got a background piece as well, and then I'm just checking I've not got 2 dirty fingers. So then I've got another stitched rectangle, so it's a little bit smaller, so you could just do that, but that's a little bit boring. We want to just change it up a little bit. We're going to go for it like a diamond like that, and then we can see a little bit more of our background. We've got these little flowers that are going to come in here. So in the corners we're going to have a rose, a blossom of whatever sort of blossom that is, I don't know what it is, and we can have a little pansy just sticking out from underneath there like that, and that can go in each corner, and that'll tie in with the course, the posy that we're going to put in the centre. That's the theory. Okay, so let's get the square stamped. Right, so I'm going to do Phil's trick because it is going to be quite a tight fit. So you can see it's going to fit quite tightly in there. I haven't gone up another size because I wanted to fit in with something else. So let's get a piece of kitchen roll. And we'll pop this in the stamping platform. Take a little bit of PVA on the back of the die cut, and we're going to pop it on like that, and then take our posy square, so that border I've just used, I haven't used it before, I haven't used this one before either. And so we'll see, we can tell the quality of the stamps because I've not obviously primed it or anything. Now, do I want it that way? It doesn't really matter because we can actually swivel it round anyway. But for the sentiments, I think we're going to have it this way. So the key with this is to make sure that your points, and it might not turn out perfectly, are actually pointing at the points in your, we'll call it a diamond, it is a square obviously. This is where you faff. Let's get a ruler. Where's my ruler gone? I had it. Oh, there it is. I think that's as near as as we're going to get it. It won't be perfect, but you know, we're doing it by eye, aren't we? So we can actually get a magnet on either point as well, this side. I've got dirty mark there, near my dirty marks. That's it. Okie dokie. Actually, let's just make sure we've not got a bubble. So peel it off again, push it down again. So I can see a bubble coming up there. Stop it, go away. That's it. So because we've got the inside bit, my advice is to ink around one side first and then ink around the other side too, and avoid the middle completely, and then you don't have to do any cleaning. Win-win. I prefer to do it in one go if I can. Don't press so hard around the lines because the lines are obviously less detailed, so you don't need to press so hard around the lines. That looks pretty good. I am just going to go again just because I can have it a bit darker. That's all I want. I just want it to be a bit darker. Bother going on the frame again. Frame's fine. Obviously, if you think it's moved, don't go again. But these stamps don't tend to be super sticky when they're new, which is brilliant. And this is the first time I've used this stamp. So again, I haven't primed it or anything like that. So that's a bit darker. So look at the detail on that. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right, so while we're here and while the stamp's in place, we'll pop a sentiment on, and then we won't have to do any more stamping. All our stamping is done. Stamp out. Looks ace. Thank you, Jean. Right, so sentiments. Let's see what we can put in this square. To someone very special. That sounds good, doesn't it? Happy anniversary. Now that's quite nice actually, because we go in red and white. It could be for not red and white, you've got me on red and white now, cream and white. It could be a ruby wedding anniversary, couldn't it? So let's have happy anniversary. And we've got the heart lattice in the background as well, so that's like a win-win situation, isn't it? And there are teeny tiny hearts on the sentiments as well. They are tiny. So if you're local to me, obviously I'm doing the workshops that I started at the weekends. There is some more of that. There's the next one's on September the 3rd, and then the winter one is on November the 5th. Both Sundays, free parking, etc, etc. Details in the workshop section of my website. I'm also taking part in the Hampshire Open Studios event that's running from the 19th to the 28th of August at the Maker's House, again in Fareham. And on Saturday the 26th, 10 till 3, I'm going to be running some make and takes there. And we're going to be doing bookmarks or tags, because I think that's something that everybody wants to do, and it's a short little piece of art. Obviously, you know, you could take it home and pop it on a card if you wanted to, or use it as a bookmark, which obviously my daughter does that an awful lot. Yeah, so it's kind of £3 a session, so it's not going to be very much. And there will be you just come and you make one, and that's £3. So I'm going off a tangent here. So I've actually started a couple, just so they're not all going to be fairy hugs. There's going to be some creative expressions. There's going to be some fill stamps there. I'll just take whatever I've got and just give people the opportunity to have a play doing a bit of paper craft and a bit of colouring in. So if you're interested, I think I'm not sure. I might take some bookings. I need to talk to the lady that runs the place and see what everybody else is doing. But yeah, so that's 10 till 3 on Saturday the 26th of August. Okay, so we've got that. That works nicely. So let's do some of our colouring in. And like I said, apologies, it's going to take a little while. So we've got all these bits to colour in. So let's do some different kind of techniques with them, but actually run the flowers all at the same time. So we've got, this is what I was doing when we started. We've got some little swatches. So from set 2, I've got this red here. I think that's a really good red to start with. And then we've also got this other lighter one from set 1, which set 1 I don't think Phil's got any left, but he has reordered. I don't think we're going to go for that one out of set 2 actually, because I think that one's out of set 1. I think that's going to be too close to that one once it gets watered down. We've also got this lovely green, my favourite green from set 3, and we've got a darker green from set 2 as well. And we will use a nice bright yellow from set 1. Oh. Must remember not to lean over in my chair, otherwise the chair will fall over and I'll end up on the floor. And it's a good idea, if you want to keep all your sets together, to actually do yourself one of these kind of swatch things, so you know exactly where they've got to go back. Right, I'm not sure what Jean's talking about there, but we'll leave her to it. So, some different ways of colouring in. So let's take this dark red, which is the darkest red. That's the darkest red, isn't it? Yeah, this darkest red. And we'll just take this kind of blossom here, which is not the one that's all around the border, so it's fine. And just add some, where Phil's put detail, we just do a little bit of colouring in. And these are quite small flowers on the frame. These are smaller images than in the original Floral Curios. And we can do this one as well while we're at it. And we do have some big ones to do as well. So we do them all at the same time in the same way. And then you know what colours you've used as well. If you restrict your palette, it does actually make it easier. I don't normally do this, but when I saw Phil doing it, I thought, that's quite cool actually. So we do these the same way. And if you add extra lines, it doesn't matter. So remember, we're on the watercolour card, and the watercolour card is the best to move any watercolours around. So whatever you're colouring in with, whether it be your oxides or your distress inks or any of your pigment powders, it's going to move better on your watercolour card. So this is a fold on the flower, so I'm just doing that a bit darker as well. So, but you could leave everything uncoloured, because like this one, I know I've got a bit of colour on that, but that against your background, is going to look absolutely fine. You don't have to colour in if you don't want to. And sometimes you think, oh, I can't be bothered to colour in, but when you add that pop of colour, it does make everything just look fantastic. Then I think we'll go for the lighter one, which is this one here. And then we're going to just blend that in, and I'm hoping we see a point of difference. Just a little bit. You'll probably see more difference if you used an orange rather than a red. But we're staying with red tones. It's actually better when you're doing your fussy cutting, if you can, it is actually better to colour in afterwards. Because first of all, if you make a mess of your fussy cutting, you've not gone to the trouble of colouring it all in and then deciding that your fussy cutting's so rubbish you want to just throw it in the bin. But also, you can go over the edges of where you've cut, and so if you've missed a bit and there's a bit of white or cream showing, then you hide it with your pen. So it has like there's two benefits to it really. They've got a real pop, they're quite vibrant, aren't they? This is kind of blending pen with pen, although I'm not doing a lot of blending because I want to keep that bit that I've done darker, because this is a little bit too similar. I might go for another colour in a minute actually to make more of a contrast on the others. But say if you were doing an orange with the red, if you go over the red a little bit, then it'll blend, because you can blend pen with pen. So there's nothing complicated about this at all, is there? You're just using felt tip pens like you used to when you were little. Only these are better because these have a fine tip to them. And if you use the right card, which is obviously the super smooth card, then you get a better result anyway. And this card takes so much water if you're doing any of your background techniques. So I've got to be a little bit more careful here so I don't go outside the lines, because this is such a strong colour that we'll see where I've gone outside the lines. Hi Anne. Yeah, actually Heather came on Sunday and she came all the way from Bedford. She drove down in the morning and back in the evening. I think she said it took 2 hours each way, which is about right because I used to travel down quite a lot when I was house hunting, and obviously when I lived in MK to see my daughter. So it's not a bad route. Down the A34, don't touch the M25. I might do a backgrounds masterclass again as a workshop at some point, because that was a lot of fun. It does mean I have to take a lot of stuff with me though, which I don't always want to do. But it is good fun. Everybody getting messy. Okay, so there's our really poppy focal points. So for the roses, we'll do the roses next. I think what we'll do with the roses is we'll take the dark colour again. I don't know which one it is, it's this one. And we'll pop a bit onto our mat. We might have to pop a little bit more in because it is quite a big area. And then mist it with some water. Like that. And then take a water brush, or you could take a normal brush. Now, where's a water brush? I had it a second ago. There it is. And we're just going to do a wash on here. In fact, let's do the square first because then it can be drying. Just look how light it is. It's so much lighter. Is that the same flower? I think that's the same flower. Come back and do that one. You will discover that you'll miss petals and you'll miss flowers, and there might be a leaf you forget to colour. So this is like a dark pink rose. Obviously you can add shading if you want to, but we don't need to. Watercolouring is probably the easiest colouring in. You know, obviously with alcohol markers, you have to have your blends, and you know, you start, I don't know, with the lightest colour, and then you go darker, and then you put the lightest colour back on again. And but with watercolour, even if you're not confident, you can get a really good look because it's meant to not look absolutely perfect. So with these are really quick. You're just giving them a wash. There is a video that will drop onto my YouTube channel on Monday morning with some turquoise tones. That's already done and dusted, ready. I will try and do some more over the weekend to go live next week. I have got some planned, some ideas, but it's all to do with time and what else we're doing. They don't have to be 100% matching because obviously flowers are different, aren't they? Okay. So there's the roses. Oh, that's quite much lighter than the other one. You can go on again. It does take a lot of water, and it doesn't, you know, some card kind of pills. This doesn't. It's absolutely fab. There's one on the side too. One on the side too, Julia. Oh. Oh, there is, yes, thank you. Thank you. See, first time colouring in of this image, and need to figure out what's what. Is that, no, that's not a bit of it. Where's the other one gone? There it is. That's all, I think that's all my roses now. I've got to do that one. So let's do that one before I forget. Dark colour here. Where did it go? Disappeared. There it is. I put a bit extra actually around there, just because I want to. I'll take the lighter colour. Which isn't much lighter. And don't worry too much. If people are kind of saying, oh, that's not coloured in very well, then they're looking too close. It's none of their business. If you've had pleasure doing it, it doesn't matter, does it? Don't do them a card again if they're going to be like that. Very mindful. Of course, you could put these into journals as well. You don't have to make cards out of them. You can just stamp a load out and, you know, have the pleasure of doing it. Yeah, I've just done my dark red one. There it is. Okay, so I think for this one, we've got one of those there, and we've got one there as well. I think what we'll do is we will bring in another colour. What's this one? This is another red. This is from set 4. That's more of a crimson. I don't think I want to go crimson. And we do also have this one, which is an orangey red. I don't want to be too far away from it. It might be quite nice. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is unfortunately going back into set 1 again. So set 1 was the first one. So set 1's got a good array of lots of different ones. Let's take this crimson. Let's have a look, see what this is going to look like. Because you don't have to do it. Let's take this crimson one and go all around the edge of this one. So this is from set 4. I think there's only one of those. This is the thing that takes time, actually, figuring out what you want to do. And then we can take... In fact, let's just take the water brush and pull it out, because it's another technique that you can do. It's not going to take us away from the colour theme. See, I've just pulled that out ever so slightly. You'll see it more on the bigger ones. So that's something else you can do with the pen. You can pull it out with the water. So I'm not using the orange. I'm using this one. So this is going to go all the way around the edge. I'm just going to move some of that. Because what I tend to do is dip things in there. So talk amongst yourselves just while I'm doing this. I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. These have got like little tiny dots on these end bits there, so you could get like a stardust pen and put, I don't know, like little gold dots or pink dots or even red dots, whatever colour dots you want on the end, which would be quite nice. They are easy cards to do, so we're not embellishing them within an inch of them like their lives, because the actual stamps are doing all the work. I know Phil said this the other day, but it's absolutely true. The stamps are doing all the work and you're just having all the fun doing it. Right, so we do a row at a time. With the daisies, you could get away with just, if you wanted to do white daisies, you could get away with just putting a bit of yellow or a bit of orange in the centres. You don't have to colour in the whole thing with the daisies. If we've done a daisy border. And we go to our water brush. And just pull the colour out. haven't bothered doing the foldy bits on the tips, but you could do that too. And if you want to go round and pull it out a little bit more, you can do. And if you just clean your brush every now and again, then you don't get the one that you get to at that end darker than the ones on this end, because there's so much colour on the tip of your brush. I think on the main image we've just got the pansies to do and the leaves and the tiny flowers, so we're nearly there. Oh, and I've got to do the pansies on the 4 pansies and the centres on everything. So how are we doing? 55 minutes. We might actually be done by past, so as a total demo, although it's only 1 and I normally do more than 1, it's still not too bad. So pull that out a little bit more. If I forget to speak, it's because I'm having a lovely time. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy's just said on YouTube how much she enjoyed the workshop on Sunday. Sandy's booked on to come on to the one in September as well. So she must have enjoyed it if she's booked to come again, mustn't she? Even my daughter went there to help me with the shop side of things, because I take a shop with me, and she joined in and she really enjoyed it too. It was lovely for her to be able to do some art, because she doesn't get much chance nowadays. It was a lovely group. I really enjoyed it. I was very tired afterwards, but I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. We all use the watercolour blending brush pens. Some people haven't used them before, and they're very impressed with the fine tips. I'm doing circular motions now. Where they cross over, you don't need to be so careful. Okay, so there's our 1 row, I'll show you. First row's done. Yeah, I am going to limit the numbers more. I wasn't sure how it would play out, but we had, there was 8 in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. Fortunately, one of the ladies that used to come to my MK workshops, she couldn't make it because she wasn't very well. So we would have had 11 and 9. I think 10's a good number actually, because we could all chat to each other, and we didn't have to share too much, and there was plenty of room for the shop, and it was just really, really lovely. I mean, although obviously it was my workshop, it was a really good day. There's loads of workshops at the Maker's House. There's even more coming up since we started doing them, and as part of the Hampshire Open Studios, there's lots of kind of try it sessions, so there's smaller sessions rather than having to do a big course. So Catherine and I are actually having a go at making a silver ring, which should be quite good fun. I want to do fused glass as well. I'm very interested in fused glass. It is lovely being near Catherine. It means that we can do stuff together. We have a family meal every Thursday night. They come over and I cook for them. and you know, like her washing machine broke earlier in the week, so she brought a washing over for me to finish off for her, and so I can help out. So it's good. Couldn't do that before. Hardly bring your washing 2 hours up the motorway and then 2 hours back, and then go and get it the next day, 2 hours there and 2 hours back. Doesn't really work, does it? So I'm trying to be quick. I know it's not the most exciting, but you can see how it's evolving. And by the time that first border will be dry now, because this card is so good. And by the time I want to do all the centres, everything will be nice and dry. And we just apply the yellow just directly to the centres. We won't do anything special. Obviously you could put glitter in the centres. You could put a little bit of Diamond Dazzle, or probably actually the rainbow crystals, because it's finer glitter. But I would colour them first and then pop some glitter on. Do remember though that the PVA will interfere a little bit with the watercolour ink that you've got underneath. Not to such an extent that it'll be a pain though, it'll be fine. Just be careful when you squeeze your water brush, sometimes you get too much water out. Okie dokie, so that's 2. We're getting there. I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes per side, isn't it? Is that the wrong colour? That's the wrong one. I don't want that one, I want this one. It won't matter, it'll be fine. This colour's set 4. Some of my watercolour blending brush pens have been going for 4 years. Some of my favourites ran out, so I treated myself to a whole new set. But that was fine, because it meant when we do the workshops there's not so much sharing. So it all works out. I'm not being careful. Don't need to, because the ink moves. Use the right card. When I did do another video, which a lot of you have seen, with this, and this is not on watercolour card, and I had all sorts of trouble getting the ink to move. It just wouldn't, and it's actually dried with texture to it on where the stamped lines are. So that's not a very good example of using the pens. I mean, I got away with it, but it's the watercolour card is just it's always the right, you use the right tools, you're going to get the best result, as always. So much pigment in this colour. Oh, I went outside the line a bit there, but it doesn't matter, it's watercolour. That's what happens. If you take time, then you're less likely to go outside the line. If you rush like I'm doing, you'll be messing about. It's a little bit pinky. I didn't want them to all look the same. Outside the line again. I was watching The Postman. I've got a very good view of everything that goes on in the road from my craft room. The cat's scratching at the door. Right, that's the penultimate side, just one side to do. Then we can do the pansies. It's looking good, isn't it? Really good pop of colour. What was loud? Was it the gate that you heard? Someone's gate. Needs oiling. It wasn't my gate. I don't have a, well, I do have a gate, but there's no way you can get down that path. The lavender's gone balmy. I might have to take that lavender out and get a less invasive one. You can't walk down the path because of the lavender. The bees love it though. Okay, that's the one from set 4, which is that. There's an aeroplane, there's all sorts of noises outside. One of them small ones. I'm not looking at your comments very much because I'm trying to get this done as quickly as possible. Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like they're really close. The worst thing is when the pigeons come, because the pigeons, there's loads of pigeons around here, and they land on the conservatory roof, and Ed hears them, and then they walk along the conservatory roof, and Ed's going frantic trying to find them, and obviously he can't get to them because he can't go out, he's not allowed. But yeah, it's quite funny. And then they sit on the roof doing that woo sort of noise. That's not a train, that's a pigeon. That's my pigeon noise. That's one. Okay. There's our border, all in red. It's a really good pop, isn't it? Right, so that's those. So next we've got to do the pansy. So the pansy, I think we'll go for decisions. They're quite often yellow in the centre, aren't they? So let's pop a bit of yellow in the centre, because they have like an eye, don't they? Like a face. And where was that? Do I want to go for this one after all? I think I might go for this one. So we'll just add the orangey colour at the back. already. He's not happy. He's on his own. Blend that a bit. Trouble is, if I stand up and let him in, he'll just go absolutely mad. He'll come in and then he'll just be a pain. He'll want to go out again because he doesn't like shut doors. He's in the litter tray now. Leave me something nice because I've ignored him. Here's our pansy. While we're at it, we do the centres of these flowers. Just with that lovely yellow. And you can blend in a little bit from the outside and just change it a little bit if you want to. That's those. Let's do the centres of these while we're at it. So these have got little dots on them as well, so you could again bring in your Sakura Stardust pens if you wanted to. So if you just make sure you've got no white showing when you're blending. So if you've missed a bit, just go over it. And some more. And then we'll do these in the same way. Don't know if you can hear him digging. We're nearly there. Oh, we've got leaves to do. At least there's no leaves in the border. I've got to do all the yellow in the border. At least you can see it from start to finish. Okay, so we've got the, what's that from? Oh no, Ed. Blend it a little bit more in with the yellow in a minute. So this is that orangey red from set 1. All over my fingers. That is one of the disadvantages of having cut everything out. But like I say, it does work really well because you can go over the edges, and that's an head hair. And oh, another head hair. Oh, go away, because he sits on my desk. Yeah, the advantage is that it hides any white bits you've still got, you know, any bad cutting out that you've done. Might be easier actually to do a dark centre rather than a yellow centre when you're colouring. Sirens, yeah, there's, yeah, they're quite a way away actually, I think. They're not the next road, but the next road after. It's yeah, you can always hear them. I can't hear them from my bedroom now, which is quite handy. Let's just go over again with the yellow, just to make sure we've got no gaps and that's nicely blended. So we've not deviated too much from reds. We've probably deviated more from the reds than Phil will have done in his demo that went live last night. But that's fine. So Phil's YouTube is Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours, and obviously mine is that. So if you're on it, you know it. If you're on Facebook, please do go over and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. There's loads of videos. There's over 80 videos using Sentimentally Yours products on there. There's our pansies. So we're all coloured in except for, you know what, I'm going to tidy up. Hang on a sec. Let me just get rid of this. Obviously you can dip that if you want to. Quite a lot of pigment left there. So I'll dip my frame in it if I'm not careful. Because I'm that mucky. So I'm just going to go around and do the yellows in the centre of here. And then any messy centre is going to disappear because we're just going to blend. Don't worry about your pen, because if your pen picks up a different colour, you can just clean it off and go again. It's not really worth it until you've been all the way around, to be honest. Unless you're finding that you're not getting yellow and you're getting orange. How are we doing? We're not doing too badly. That pop of yellow in the centre really makes a difference. Going to be another beautiful day down here on the south coast today. It's supposed to be 26 today. Remember, these borders are exclusive to retailers. It won't be on the TV. There's our border, get rid of that. So we just need to finish this off. I've done all the extra bits. So we've got the little tiny flowers there. So let's take the, is this the darkest one? That's the lighter one, I think. Yeah, it's the lighter one. So take the lighter one and we'll do a little bit of watercolouring with them. Just to do these tiny, tiny little flowers. I haven't spritz that with water because there's not much there. So this is a lighter version of that. On the bigger versions of this, within the Beautiful Blooms stamp set, there is a centre, so you could put a little bit of yellow in there. It's amazing how many different colours you can get just by actually just applying them differently, whether you're watering them down, using them direct, blending pen with pen, or whether you're pulling the colour out with water. There's also loads of background techniques that you can do with the watercolour blending brush pens. I will try and do a video with that next week, or to go live next week, using some of the beautiful bloom stamps. There is a playlist with backgrounds on my YouTube channel. They're always they always get kind of recycled. Oh, there's some more of these. Nearly caught me out. There's some little ones here. You get used to colouring them in, and then you'll know where the extra bits are. Obviously, first time colouring in, I have no idea where all the extra bits are. This is quite a different red to the darker red when it was watered down, as you'd expect, really. Okay, that's that. There's so much pigment in these reds. Clean that off. Don't want red on my water brush for the next bit. So now we're going to do the leaves. So as Phil was explaining the other night, there's two different types of leaves. There's the ones with this vein. Let's see if I can show you. There's the one with that vein, and then there's the one with that vein there. So there's two different types. So let's have this one. There's this here. One, I think. And then you'll find that you've missed a leaf, as always. And that one. Okay, and then we'll pull the colour out of that. Try not to touch the red because the red will pull out. My water brush is running a little bit faster than I'd like. I'm just watching people park outside my house and visit other people's houses because there's a road that we're living on. It's weird. Okay, so that's that leaf, and then we'll do the darker green on the other one. So we've just got 3 of these each side. So I'm only really making it up as I go along. We're not going to ink around the edges of these. We're going to keep them nice and simple. It's definitely running a bit quicker than I'd like. Oh, somebody's at the front door, excuse me. And I'm back. This is the beauty of a live demo, isn't it? When Nathan's still in bed, I have to answer the door. Friendly neighbour. Okay. And we go in here. Like I say, don't worry if it goes outside the line. It really is not worth worrying about. Nobody's going to look that close. And if they do, like I say, just don't let them anywhere near your work in future. There we go. Okay, so it's all coloured in now. Oop, this shows. Pretty, isn't it? It's got. They are such beautiful images. I loved the original Floral Curios. I've got a few left, and I did pop them in the TV section. I'm not sure if they're on the shows or not, but so you can still get your 10% discount. So let's construct this card, shall we? After all this time, and let's give you something that's finished to look at. Right, so let's think about what we're doing here. So we want to go that, and then that's got to go on top of there like that. It is a little bit pinky, but it's fine. It's fine. That tones off, aren't they? So I don't need any glue in the centre because I've gutted. So gutting is just when you do your die cut, you pop another die in the centre, and then you're being more frugal with your card then. Do I want to do that? I don't want to do that yet, do I? Backtrack. Let's get the frame on first, because then I'll get on everything lined up properly. Backtrack. So that's put me off because that when my neighbour came to the door. Let's grab some 2mm foam tape and put our frame on. So if you don't, I do love like I say, I do love these colour family cards that Phil's made. And like I say, there is a turquoise one coming out on my YouTube channel on Monday morning at 7 AM. But if you want to do a mix of colours, then just use black as your contrast card for your mats and layers, and then because black will go with anything, and then you don't have to worry too much. It is quite interesting restricting your palette though, and it's quite pleasing to the eye as well, I think. It's not something I would normally do. I'd think, oh, what haven't I used? I haven't used the blue, I use the blue. I haven't used the purple, I use the purple. Let's see. Try and get my heart straight. Like that. And then obviously this is going to have glue on the back. Let's just clean that up. I know, I'll treat myself to another piece of kitchen roll. Be a rebel. There's still loads of pigment on my mat. Do be careful. And now we can pop this onto our red card. Poppy red. Different from Sumptuous Scarlet, which is a darker red. And then we're going to pop this onto a bigger piece, my back. So if this was going onto card blank, my back card measures 7 3/4 inch, so obviously perfect for an 8x8 card. also have some foam tape in the middle because you don't want a saggy middle. Make sure your hearts are facing the right way up. Obviously the border doesn't matter, but if you're using an embossing folder where the design has to be a certain way, make sure that you sort that out. Okay. And then we're going to pop a square onto other piece of Sumptuous Scarlet. Now ideally, I mean this doesn't matter, the kitchen roll's so thin anyway. Ideally I'd pop this under something so that it would settle. Remember, less is more with your PVA. Just if you scrub it on so you actually push the nozzle into your card, then you're going to dispense less glue, and that's going to be better. See that that's pointing. No, it's not quite. I'll faff so much that it'll dry on me. That's good. And we want foam tape on that, but we'll want to come in a little bit. We won't want to go right the way to the edges. Perhaps do 3 smaller pieces. Just check that that's going to fit. Yeah. In fact, I might go up a little bit. Be a rebel. Because you've got the thickness of the card, I'm not going to go up another one. I'm just going to go up. I'm going to go up 1, as in 1 millimetre, as opposed to, so I could have just used 3. I'm not going to go up 4, so 2 times 2. I'm going to go up a 2 and a 1. Obviously you could do this flat. The frame, perhaps not, but you could get away with doing a 1 millimetre rather than a 2 millimetre foam tape on your frame. But it'll definitely go in a large letter. That's all right, June, no problem. And apologies if I comment on your comments late. It's just that they've started filtering around again. Now you can line it up by this middle flower here to get it in the right place. Then we've got our extra little bits. So we've got a rose and a blossom, and the pansy was going to go underneath, I think. Should we do that? Or, see, I've done all those, or you can decide, you can tell me. Or, shall we just stick a gem in the corner? It seems a waste to just stick a gem in the corner. Let's do another corner here, look. So we'd have this one here, and this pansy under there maybe. What do we think? What do we think? Let's have a look. These comments are, you prefer the gem. Debbie prefers the gem. Oh, what's happening here? Gem, Michelle's saying gem. My comments are playing up. Should we stick a gem in the corner? Oh, Chrissy prefers flowers. Right, so what if, let me have a think. What if we do this? What if we do that? Should we do that instead? I think that's what we'll do. So I've got all these flowers left over. That, yeah, had you watch me colour in. Let's do this. Right, so we need to have the pansy just on the edge. They won't go back as I put them. There's the pansy. Let's have the pansy on the edge. I think it's because the border has ended up taking up more space on the on there than I expected. So then we'll have the rose. And we could 3D it, but we'll just do it flat because otherwise it will end up really high. And then we'll have the blossom. See, ideas are always there to change, aren't they? Okay. And then we do the same on this side. I'll pop a gem in each corner. These are the ruby gems. And this is the 8mm. Okay, I think that's good. I think I'm happy with that. What do you think? So there we are, all done. So just to recap, we've used the Posy Square, I've used the Sweetheart Sentiments, I've used the beautiful borders. Remember, that's only available from retailers, not available from the TV. And then we've used beautiful blooms as well. And they're all going to be available, all the new ones will be available from my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses from Sunday evening at midnight. And you can get a 10% discount on all items on the Create and Craft shows from today until next Friday. So obviously the new stuff won't be there till Sunday night, but you can order the other stuff that's on the shows now with that discount code. Remember, it's at checkout, you pop it in and it acts like a payment type thing. And then you'll also find the products at Honeypot Crafts as well. Again, the borders are available on both our websites now, and then again on Phil's website, the new stuff will go there at midnight on Sunday. So if you're not already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please head over there, Julia Watts Crafts, and subscribe and leave a lovely comment. It would be really nice to hear from you. And yeah, I just need to say thank you for watching, and have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.